Hebrew in the Hebrew language and perform Seder at Easter time. And when I was young, back in Carter days, I was very young, I can remember my mother one time looking at me and saying, there will come a day when you have to stand up, and you will have to stand up and fight for Israel. I had no idea what she was talking about, because I was thinking then, I don't know where Israel is, what that is, and why she said that. Driving down here today, I realized what she meant. And we all have to stand up as Americans and fight for what is right. We know what is right. Israel is God's nation. He's commanded us to. I will always fight and defend Israel. We all need to stand up and give Israel our time, our money, our voices, and our vote. And I thank you very much. God bless America, and God protect and bless Israel.
I see Delegate Neil Parrott has joined us. I want to thank him for coming out today. I know he left his mother at Johns Hopkins after just having surgery on Friday. We pray she's doing well. Come on up, give us a few words.
First, I just want to say thank you to the organizers, Fred, guys, for having this today, because it's so important that we stand together and we recognize that Israel has been under attack. Actually, our citizens have been under attack. They have hostages right now, Israeli, American citizens. We're in a tough position. I will tell you, when Fred called, it's like, Fred, I'm going to be in Baltimore with my mom. She's had surgery, but I'm thankful to be able to be here. Of course, it's hard to say no to Fred. But I'll give you an update. My mom's doing well. She had a surgery in her brain on Friday, and now she might have to have a heart pacemaker put in. But I want to tell you, I wanted to come here because it's important, and I thank you each for taking time out of your day to be here. We have to stand against evil when evil presents itself. And what we saw happen in Israel on Yom Kippur this year was pure evil. To take little children, now I'm not even going to tell you, you guys all know, you've read the stories, but it's horrific what happened in Israel. And I'm thankful. I disagree with our president on a lot of things, but I'm thankful that he's standing with Israel very strongly. We need to do that. We need to encourage him in that. And I think both parties, we should all come together and stand for Israel at this very important time. I took my family just about a month ago when it first came out to go see the movie Golda. I don't know if you guys have seen it. But it's interesting. We saw that movie. I had no idea that just a few weeks later, you'd have Hamas trying to use that anniversary to come out and have more atrocities against the Jewish people. And let me just tell you, it's not just against Israel. They're not like death to Israel. There's death to the Jews. They have an agenda to get rid of a whole group of people. Genocide. That's what they want. And I'm very thankful, again, that our country is standing up against it, standing strong. We need to. We've got aircraft carriers out there. Hamas needs to be utterly destroyed.
Amen.
I don't know where this is going to end up, but we have Hamas, we have Hezbollah now launching missiles, we have it come from Lebanon, and we have Iran who's supporting all these activities. Now, I've sent out emails on this, but Iran, we did just give them $6 billion to release 5 hostages. That was a huge mistake, a huge tactical mistake, which anybody can see just looking at history. You don't do that. You don't give money for hostages. Now they've got a whole lot more hostages, and we have way more than 5 that are dead, over 30 in the area. And we helped to fund that. That was a huge mistake on our end. But I am thankful that we're seeing strong action from our country to come and support Israel at this important time. And I'm thankful for each of you that are here. We represent hundreds of people who are not here to say we, the United States, we stand with Israel, and we stand against evil. And I am just going to talk because I am from Hagerstown. We saw pure evil happen in Hagerstown just the other day. when a judge was shot multiple times, passed away. We have to stand against Israel. In that case, I hope they find the person right away. Nothing less than the death penalty will be acceptable in that case. And what we see in Israel, nothing less than getting rid of Hamas is going to be acceptable. They need to be wiped off the face of the earth. What they've done is unacceptable, and they need to pay for what they've done. And I'm thankful that we can be a part of working with Israel to stand against that atrocity and against that evil and to bring righteousness to this earth and to this area. And again, I want to thank you all for being here today.
Amen, brother.
Those of you that know me know I'm known for my t-shirts. I have all kinds, hundreds of them.
Can we take a quick, because I think Adelia has to leave.
Sure.
I chose
Quick interview with
Never
them
Forget
before
9/11,
you have to leave.
because October 7th was Israel's 9/11. But in terms of numbers, as far as per capita, Israel's 9/11, or 10/7, was 10 times worse than what happened to us on 9/11 2001. The 1,300 killed in Israel equates to almost 100,000 in the United States killed.
No, you're good.
That is unacceptable. And like Delegate Parrott said, Hamas must be eliminated. We must cut the head off that serpent. Brenda, I see you up here. Come on up. Brenda Chum, candidate for Congress, right here in
Yeah.
Congressional District 6.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to see you all out this afternoon. I went to church this morning to both of my services, and my pastor preached out of Nehemiah.
Thank you.
And I tell you, we need God like never before. I stand in solidarity with you. I stand in unity with you. I stand in support with you of Israel, that God show himself mighty and strong on behalf of people in Israel who are losing their lives, children, men, women, boys, and girls. We need God to rise up against the enemy to show that he is mighty and he is all-powerful. We must continue to pray that God will shine his face upon the people of Israel. I will continue to be in prayer with you that God will cover and God will end this war. And before I leave, I'd like to sing a short hymn that we sing in our church. Be not dismayed, whatever betide, God will take care of you. Beneath his wings of love abide, God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day or all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you. God bless you, my brothers and sisters. May he take care of all of us and keep us under his keeping care. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless Israel.
God bless you. Brenda, thank you very much. I have an article I printed out from Friday, the UK Daily Mail. It's not going to be pretty. Exclusive. Israeli morgue worker says horrors inflicted on Hamas's victims are worse than the Holocaust, including decapitated pregnant women and her beheaded unborn child.
Not a problem.
Awesome, thank
A
you.
volunteer who works in a military base morgue cleaning bodies of the mutilated Israeli soldiers before they are buried says the brutality of Hamas's massacre of innocents is worse than the Holocaust. Shari has a grim task of fully mutilated corpses from the body bags that are lined up on stretchers at the morgue of the Shura military base near Tel Aviv before preparing them as best she can for the funerals. The architect and mother of four told Mail Online, "I heard stories about Auschwitz as a child growing up in New Jersey, but what I have seen here with my own eyes is worse than the Holocaust." Shari, who doesn't want to give her surname to protect her family's safety, works with the IDF's Rabbinate Corps, who formally identified whatever is left of the remains recovered after the military has been murdered by Hamas gunmen.
Who are you with? What media group?
So I'm
To
an
allow their
independent
families to
journalist.
bury them as quickly as possible, as is the Jewish custom.
I'll talk to you. My mother.
Still wearing the
I was raised in
scrubs
America. My mother's
for another
dead.
long and
My
grueling
sister's been
show.
Haifa in Israel for
Preparing
50
to
years.
death
Dead out of
funerals.
God. So her
Told Mail
son
Online,
is
we watch the bodies and
Really?
prepare them for
her son.
burial.
Obviously, they're
We
Haifa.
try
not
to
in
bring them
immediate
dignity
danger.
and death.
But you read these emails.
But what
it
these
seems like
barbarians did to these
north.
people is beyond words. This is evidence of mass rape. There is evidence of mass rape.
Yeah.
So brutal
You can't
that they bring the
couldn't do
victims'
that
pelvis,
without
Let me know when you
women,
have enough of them.
grandmothers, children,
Okay, that's awesome.
and volunteer to prepare the bodies of murdered women to give them the respect they deserve.
interview
I'm a
Karen.
mother from New Jersey.
Interview her
I moved to
also.
I will. Yeah, I
20
plan to
years
get
ago.
a lot of people here.
I'm a normal person. I never
Now we're good. Yeah.
further
All right, let me back that up a little bit. Now we're perfect.
see more corpses. Last night, we see evidence savage. We have babies with their heads cut off, bodies all left without genitals. We wait for a child to say it.
Testing.
Kaddish.
So my quick question to you is, do you know if this has a name right here, this event in particular? This is off the record. Do you know? It's the conservative. Is this who hosted this? Because I'm just curious. Okay.
And Frederick County Conservative Club.
Okay, Frederick County Club. I don't even know if that's going to be relevant. I was just curious to satisfy my own curiosity right now.
And
All right.
what's your name again?
My name is Levi Trumbull.
Levi,
I'm a videographer here in Frederick. I also have an independent news company, so it's multifaceted. I tell people I do video both professionally and personally. But in any event, if you're ready, we'll
ready.
get that done and we'll get you out of here. Sorry about everything that's going. You said with your mother.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate
Sorry to hear that. I
Yeah.
can't imagine. That's rough. That's I'm sorry. Yeah. But anyway, all right. So, sort of, if you were to look, I would just probably look that way. Probably would be best. You know, you can sort of do your thing, but I think for the time being, it might do the shot better to have you facing forward.
Sounds good.
Both in frame, Sam. Appreciate it. All right, so now we are here with former delegate Neil Parrott. So my question for you, Neil, is why was it important for you today to be here at this event here in Frederick?
Well, thanks, Levi. I got the invitation from Fred Profiter, and I'm thankful for Alexandria and all the people that are here supporting Israel. It's important that we stand with Israel at this time. As I talked about a second ago, what we're seeing is pure evil when you have Hamas launching those types of attacks on the citizens of Israel. It's just pure evil. We have to stand up against evil. I'm thankful that our country is standing alongside Israel, and we need to fight with them. And I'm thankful to have a little part today just to encourage the people who are here. I'm thankful that each one of us is here, and everyone who's listening online, to let them know we need to stand with Israel. And I'm thankful to be able to take a part in doing that.
Absolutely. So what do you think the American consensus should be on this Israel as it relates to this conflict between Hamas and Israel?
Well, I think we need to look at Hamas for what it is. It's pure evil. They just want to annihilate the Jewish people, it's not just they want land back. They want to get rid of a whole race of people. You can't live with that. Hamas has got to be completely exterminated.
Okay. So what do you think is the proper response from Israel then? You've told us what the American consensus should be on it. Where do you think Israel, the government of Israel, how do you think they move forward?
Well, you move forward with a show of strength. You have peace through strength. And in this case, you have people that just want to wipe you out. So you can't let them sit and just fester like we've seen over generations now with different groups that just want to get rid of Israel. So it's time for them to, they've all obviously fought back. They took out one of their leaders, I believe, last night, and they're looking at a ground offensive. I think, unfortunately, that is going to be necessary.
Absolutely. What effect do you think this has on the Jewish community, not just in Israel, but all over the world, here in America, here in Frederick County, Maryland? What's your response to that, this incident?
Yeah, well, I think it just reminds us all that there's hate and there's evil, and we have to stand up against it wherever and whenever and with as full strength that we can.
Absolutely. Neil Parrott, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate
it. Thank
you
you.
Taking a moment to speak with me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you. All right. Good deal. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Levi.
As an Israeli and as an American, so thank you again for having me.
Good stuff.
I want to start with the letter that I actually read today, and I want to read it to you guys
Fred?
because it's so
Good to meet you, Fred.
impactful.
This
To
is
our
good right here.
soldiers, to our dear Israeli soldiers, we are brutal Holocaust survivors who live in South
Turn
Jersey.
this on.
There's important born. You have been passed on from generation to generation of Jewish people and will forever be passed on. You have already passed. Our ancestors from over 5,000 years ago survived 40 years in the desert before they reached Eretz Israel, the land of Israel. They fought hostile people who tried to kill us even back then. In every generation, someone has tried to destroy us. But they did not succeed. We survived and we thrived. We survived the modern day Hamas and the Nazis along with collaborators. We survived the communist rule. Your ancestors survived the ancient Greeks, Babylonians, inquisitions from country to country, and many programs. After the Shoah, so many of us lost everything, but created our own futures and the futures of our children and grandchildren by using our brains. We learned how to adopt a new country, language, customs, and neighbors, our courage and stamina, and we will live, help to overcome all obstacles that were placed in our way. So we viewed them as mere stepping stones. Our will to survive cannot be learned. It's an inborn, and it is you and everyone worldwide fighting for Israel. You did not have to work for it or to earn it as part of a Jewish heritage, and it is thousands of years old. It is in your genetic code, and the rest of the world is always amazed when they see the evidence of this tremendous intelligence and strength. But we are not, because we know who we are, where we come from, and from what we are capable of overcoming. We who lived through impossible times and seen evil through our years of history. We want you to recognize how special you are. We believe in you, and we know that you will triumph against Hamas and the collaborators. We have already done it, and you will too. Am Yisrael Chai. With love and support, prayers, and many more, Hashem will watch over you and keep you safe. This was signed by Holocaust survivors from the South Jersey communities. Today, I want to tell you that it is 16 days into this war. 7,300 plus rockets were fired from Gaza, 1,400 plus murdered, 4,500 plus have been injured, 212 plus have been kidnapped by Hamas, including American citizens, 30 of which are children. 500 plus Israeli families have been displaced and have no home. 21 babies and 13 children from different families are now orphans. October 7th, 2023, the Jewish community witnessed something that we swore We swore that would never happen again. We say this every year. Never again. Never let it happen again. The numbers may not seem high to you as the Holocaust, which happened nearly 80 years ago, but the atrocities and the acts of violence, the inhumane acts of terrorism, and the cruelty that was inflicted upon Israelis are just as atrocious as the ones that were inflicted upon the Jewish people 80 years ago. And today we say, never again is now. There was not a moment when we thought that there was a moment when we thought that the world was going to stand with the Jewish people and that we would not be alone. But that moment passed by so quickly, and instead, the uprising and support for Palestinians and the Free Palestinian movement stood up so quickly and took over that we felt alone again. The Jewish people felt alone again. And we immediately felt like what our ancestors must have felt like back in Nazi Germany. And there is not a Jewish person in the world that can tell you that they did not feel that way. And every Jewish person has something built inside of them where they think, who would I run to? Who would I go to if something like this happened, like happened in Nazi Germany? Who would be my ally? Who would hide me? And on that day, we learned who our allies would be and who they wouldn't be. We would know who would hide us. On that very day, we learned. We defriended people on Facebook. We blocked people on Facebook because we knew that those people would not be our allies. When Black Lives Matter happened, we stood up. When the LGBTQ plus community needed us, we stood up. But when Jewish lives mattered, happened, not everybody stood up. There wasn't an outrage in the world. There wasn't an outrage on social media. Why? Why wasn't there an outrage on social media? Make no mistake though, the Jewish people are strong. We are fighters. We have been through this many, many, many times. For thousands of years, we have fought horrific wars and horrific atrocities. We have survived and we will survive. Many of us have tried. Many have tried to take us out and many have failed. And Hamas will fail again. And we will make sure of it as a Jewish community because we always stand together. And we will rise up and we will be a strong voice. And I stand before you today as a Jewish, Israeli American, and a proud one. And my message to you today is that if you are Jewish, now is not the time to be silent. Now is the time to stand up and rise and be a strong Jewish voice. And if you are not Jewish, my message to you is stand up, support us, align with us, share the truth. We would do the same for you. And to all my family and friends in Israel, we will stand by you. We will support you. We will share all the messages of hope. We will do all of that.
Together, over the crowd. Get ready to play your children's ears. Because no telling what's going to come back. You've got no children. Just like I know. Thank you. Thank you. I usually have say something right here.
Those days are over. One of the things that we see here, when Gaza is simply one big radioactive parking lot. That's what it's going to be. At most, it should only be one enormous recycle center. That's it. International target practice, whoever wants it. And that is what they'll have to look forward to. When it's all over, they'll have something to memorialize their evil with. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for that, Sam. We have a very special person. He's a personal friend of mine. His name is Dan Kramer, and he is representing Howard County here today. Come on up and say a few words, Dan.
Yay! Or if you know me, you know why you don't want to applaud. But I'm Dan Kramer from Howard County, and I had no remarks, so if I stumble through, forgive me. But one is, it's just wonderful to see such a diverse group here, and at the sake of using inappropriate humor, you don't have to be Jewish to eat Levy's rye bread. But what we're here for is disgusting. This is not a cause for gathering and being a little upset and protesting. This is outrage. What's occurred is just beyond comprehension. When we describe the horrific ways that these people were murdered, it is beyond belief. When we talk about children being killed in front of their parents, we're understating the magnitude and how that occurred. It is pure evil. I appreciate the T-shirt memorializing 9/11. I was there on 9/11. I was in New York City. I saw the planes hit firsthand. I saw things I can never imagine. I never imagined in my lifetime that I would see a real-life Hitler. I never imagined in my lifetime that I would see real-life slavery. I never imagined that I would see the magnitude of anti-Semitism rearing its head in our country, no less in Times Square, New York. Give me a break. But, there's a little expression going around called Mazel Tov. And I am a deep believer that we will prevail. We have dealt with stuff like that throughout our history, but we need to come together as a civilization that represents humanity to make a difference in this world. It's not just Israel. You know, the old expression is they're coming for them, eventually they're coming for you, and we know who they're coming for. So we need to have a voice, we need to speak out, we need to take a stand. And we need to be, without any remorse, to have a position, and that is our choice, to stand up and express ourselves. So thank you for coming out. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'd say this is just the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We also have our young Jewish Republicans with us, our Maryland Republican Jewish Coalition representative, Andrew Cobb. He's going to come here and say some words. Jackie Saxton she's the president she's the vice chair of the organization, and she's done some great things in Montgomery County, and we have a great representative here, Andrew.
Thank you, Alexandra. My name is Andrew Koch. I am the treasurer of the Maryland Republican Jewish Council. I am the host of the Daily Kvetch video series. So, needless to say, you can imagine what I've been talking about now for 2 weeks straight. This past Shabbat, of this weekend, we read Parshat Noach. And there's an interesting word that appears in Hebrew twice in the very beginning of Parshat Noach. And that word in Hebrew is Hamas. What does Hamas mean in Hebrew? It means, as my rabbi described it, means moral depravity. It means robbery. It means corruption. And we see it does not take a genius to look at what Hamas has been doing in Gaza over the last 16 years, since 2007, when they firmly entrenched themselves as the rulers of Gaza. What they have done, they are corrupt. They divert international aid to their own purposes and use it for terrorism. They rob. They crush dissent. They rob people of their lives in the way they murder Israelis, both Jewish, Christian, and Muslim Israelis. And they're morally depraved. We saw that on October 7th. And that's not the first time that's happened, that Hamas has carried out horrific atrocities like that in Israel. They've done that before. They did it in 2014 during Operation...
Testing. All right, guys, Levi Trumbull reporting in Baker Park, Frederick, Maryland. We are here today to take interviews and cover a pro-Israel rally event here taking place right behind me. One shot. How'd I do? Good. Appreciate it.
In Middle Earth, and we're not going to find it. Israel has every right to defend themselves by any means necessary. And if that means they have to go into the Gaza Strip and parking lot it and send in Marines to paint the stripes, that's what they got to do. Because rest assured, if something happens to Israel and they fall, that region is
So can I grab your name real quick?
And that chaos
Hi,
is going
Joe
to spread
Schwimmer.
around the
Nice
world
to meet you, Joe.
in a matter of months.
So I have a question for you real quick. It'll be a real easy one. So what brought you out here today to this event?
I am just overcome with feeling for what has happened and the horrific responses I've seen from the Palestine liberation group that's on campus and whatever, and I thought it was time for people who are pro-Israel, who are for Israel, to stand together and come together. People talk about Israel having a proportionate response. I can see no proportionate response to someone killing your children. This is pure evil, pure and simple evil. If Hamas lays down its weapons and surrenders, there will be peace. If Israel lays down its weapons and surrenders, there'll be no Israel.
What do you think the response should be from Israel to Hamas?
Hamas is all of the Gaza. They voted for Hamas. They brought them in. Fine. They should all enjoy the retribution that is brought about by this. They made a horrific operation and killed people left and right and kidnapped people and brought them back to Gaza. This is unacceptable. This is inhumane. This is not for people on this earth.
Well, I'm going to try and do this.
They should be hunted down, their heads destroyed, and the people should be sent elsewhere. Send them to Syria. They might enjoy it.
What do you think the American consensus and/or American response should be as it relates to this issue with Israel and Gaza? What should the consensus be? Where should we be at mentally, the American people?
We should be with the Israelis. We should not be there thinking of, oh, those poor Gazans, those poor Gazans. What poor Gazans? They're the ones who did this. You are punishing the people who are victims. This is ridiculous. We should be with Israel.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing with me your thoughts and your time. I appreciate you, sir. It's been a pleasure, all right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a very nice event.
It is.
I will say that, and it's a nice day, too. No, this is good, and I like your sign right here.
If you're a terrorist and you're supporting, you're a terrorist, right? There's no difference.
Yeah. Testing. All right.
Together in solidarity with Israel and prayers on their behalf. We are in pain. We have all seen the horrific images, videos of what happened 2 weeks ago in Israel.
All right, and you said that you had one more thing to add. Go right ahead.
The Hamas saw that there was a peace almost occurring between Saudi Arabia and Israel, the Abrahamic Accords, and it was going to go on beyond Saudi Arabia. There was already a near peace with Jordan and Egypt, and they had to destroy it. And this is what they did to destroy it, and they are backed by the one agent, Iran, that intends to destroy everything.
I'm sorry to edit you, but we're going to have to turn back to get this, Rabbi.
Okay. All right. I got you. Don't worry.
Provides much needed comfort.
Yep, I got it.
Times like these to unite and support one another. In unity there is strength. You have no idea how much much your support means today to all of us. 80 years ago, the world stood by silently as 6 million Jews were murdered. But not this time. This time we are not alone. You are standing with us, and that means so much to all of us. What happened on October 7th was not just an attack on Israel, was an attack on all humankind, was an assault on the very ideals of decency, morality, and human dignity we hold sacred. The evil terrorists have complete disregard for human life, both Jewish and their own people as well. This is not a war between two nations, but a battle between good and evil, between light and darkness. And this battle, we all have a role to play. Every decent human being has a duty to not whitewash evil, to display moral clarity, and most importantly, to bring more light into the world through kindness, through love, through compassion, and through respect. We must respond to their darkness with more light. By standing here together today, we demonstrate our commitment to choosing light over dark. United, we will overcome hatred and evil, for as history has proven time and again, goodness and light will always prevail over evil and darkness. But let's not just wait for light to prevail. Let's not just wait for the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's be the light in the tunnel. Let us love more, smile more, share more, reach out more. Let us do our part to illuminate the darkness. There's a special campaign that was set up called a Campaign of Goodness and Kindness. Until to date, over 100,000 good deeds have already been recorded. Each of us can add our mitzvah, our good deed, today. If you want to check out the website, it's onemitzvah.org/Israel. mitzvah, mitzvah.org/Israel, where each and every one of us can record a good deed, a mitzvah, that we can do in honor of our brothers and sisters in the Holy Land of Israel. It is through our good deeds that we will overcome all the hate and evil. The Jewish nation has gone through many persecutions in our history. We were crushed, beaten, slaughtered, but we emerged, we built, and have grown. We shall again overcome. Am Yisrael Chai. Until we get there, and in order to get there, let us join our hearts together and pray for peace in Israel at this most difficult time. Let us pray that the terrorists not cause more death or destruction, not to Israel and not to their own people. Let us pray that the 200 hostages return home safely. Let us pray for all those wounded to heal. And let us pray for all lives lost. Please join us together if you know this tune. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru yimeru amen. Oyaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Thank you.
That's something about the Israelis. You always have a song for something. Brings joy to my heart to hear you singing out here. Speaking of singing, she knows opera in 15 different languages. Huh? And counting. Let's bring up Alexandra one more time.
I just want to say thank you again to Fred Profiter and Seth Eisenberg and the whole team for helping me with this. When I messaged him, there was no hesitation from this man and from Seth. They said, we're doing this. So I thank you guys so much. I really do. I thank you. And we need to have more rallies like this nationwide, countywide. We need to continue doing this. So my speech is a little bit personal. It's going to talk a little about my family, and then it will talk about how I lived in Israel, my experience there, and what Israel's all about. So today I received a very beautiful stone from one of my friends in New Jersey, and it's actually made in Jerusalem, Israel, with Jerusalem stone, and it says Israel on it with a menorah on it. And when I received it yesterday, I cried, because Jerusalem stone is so beautiful and it's so rare and it's such a strong stone, and I will carry this with me everywhere I go for the rest of my life. So again, my name is Alexandra Levine, but my Hebrew name is Eitel Rezel Bat Nacham Yadol V'Devora Miriam HaKohen. The Kohanim tribe is from the house of Aaron, which was Moses' older brother. I am 100% Jewish, born to 2 Jewish parents and 4 Jewish grandparents. My family on both sides are Holocaust survivors, and my family on both sides survived the pogroms in Russia in the 1920s. On my father's side, we had a family name called Shartak, which in Hebrew was turned to Sharet. Moshe Sharet was the 2nd Prime Minister of Israel and the 1st Foreign Minister of Israel, and he is my relative. He worked with the 1st Prime Minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, and was one of the first signatories of Israel's Declaration of Independence in 1948. He literally helped build Israel. On my mother's side, the first mayor of Tiberias, we know, was a horrific day for Israel. My friends and family were shaken then by what happened and are still shaken today. You see, everyone in Israel knows each other because it's such a small country. My friends in Jerusalem knew the victims that died in Sderot at the natural preserve. And my family in Tel Aviv know some of the victims who died in Ashkelon and Ashdod. A lot of my friends who live in Jerusalem, some are not working, they're staying in their bomb shelters, and some that are working, they tell me the streets are bare. They are currently waiting for further instruction by the IDF, which stands for the Israeli Defense Force, and from the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu. But the Israelis aren't mad at each other. They don't hate each other. They don't have animosity towards each other. They come together. The Israelis are currently providing for the food for the elderly and making sure the children are well taken care of. There are Christians and Muslims that live in Israel that are currently working together. That is what Israel is all about. In Jerusalem, it is such a beautiful moment to see Jews, Christians, and Muslims celebrating their holidays together and living in peace. All Israel wants in this world is to have peace. The terrorist organizations, Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, etc., do not want peace with anyone who isn't like them. They use their people as shields and strap bombs on children and pregnant women and call them martyrs and tell them to kill innocent people. How can anyone have peace or feel safe when the terrorists infiltrate a city or a town randomly and kill innocent people and kill their own people? This is not what Hashem wants. This is not what the people of Israel want. And we as Americans also want to feel safe when we visit Israel and see the history there. Israel did not ask for this attack. Israel does not support this attack. And anyone who does is on the side of evil. The mission in Israel today is to annihilate the terrorists and the terrorist regime once and for all. Thank you. The terrorists are currently currently knocking on our door. And if we don't stand with Israel, we are giving the terrorists free rein to do whatever they want. Israel is our biggest ally. We work with their agriculture, their environment, military, central intelligence, and technology. This is a part of the Declaration of Independence that the United States made with Israel in 1948, and we must not break it. As my friend Karen said today, never again means never again, and never again means now. Amen. Now I ask that we stand and support Israel, not because it is the right thing to do, but it is the only way to stop terrorism from coming across our border and ruining our peace. As President Ronald Reagan said, I quote him directly, peace through strength. And the Israelis have an expression too, quote, peace for peace. We also must continue to pray for the victims' families, continue to pray for the hostages, and make sure they come back safe, and memorialize the fallen. And never give up, never lose faith, and never forget. As we say, and as everyone has said, say, Am Yisrael Chai, which in Hebrew means the people of Israel live, and Shalom Alechem, which means peace unto you. I also want to say to everyone who has spoken today, we do have an independent reporter who has a YouTube channel. Please interview. We're doing testimonials. I also want to say that I have been Facebook Living and everyone else has. These videos today are going directly to Israel. They are being live streamed to Israel. I can tell you I have personally emailed the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, the Defense Minister, everyone from the Knesset. They know that this rally is happening today. They have responded to me and they said, thank you so much for doing what you do. My friends have said, we love to see Americans support Israel. We want to see the pictures. We want to see the rally today. We want to see videos. We want to see pro-Israel rallies all over this nation. Again, thank you so much. I see Robin Ficker here.
I gotta open this up here. I got a message I gotta read to you. Heath Barnes is another candidate for Congressional District 6. He's also the mayor, Burgess of Woodsboro. They're having Woodsboro Days today, and he was unable to make it. And he says, I fully support Israel's right to defend itself against Hamas and other enemies that is trying to destroy them. The eradication of Hamas is long overdue. I believe it's America's duty to stand by our ally in the Middle East to ensure that they win against the evils that are coming against them. Anti-Semitism has no place in America, and definitely not our elected officials. We should be speaking out against the wait a minute, I lost my place. We should be speaking out against the elected officials that reduce.
Fred is someone who has really led the state in promoting public discussion and debate on issues of importance. He sponsored the first gubernatorial debate in the last election. There should have been many more. I'm Robin Ficker. I'm a candidate for U.S. Senate, but I'm not here to talk about that or foreign policy. First, I'd like to offer my sincere condolences to the families or friends of anyone who was killed or injured in this horrific attack by Hamas on the music festival of Israel or in surrounding areas after that. The people of Israel and civilians across the region have been caught in a crossfire. They're in my thoughts and prayers. Thank goodness the U.S. military is nearby now with those aircraft carriers. And I think some of these Hamas terrorists are going to think long and hard about some of their other plans that they had in mind, because the U.S. military is there. And I fully support our military who are in harm's way there. More than 1,300 people were killed on October 7th. Many more were injured. Terrorists raped, murdered, tortured, kidnapped men, women, children, and the elderly, sparing no one. Anyone who was alive, they decided to kill or maim. In one account, an elderly woman was murdered, and this act was captured on her Facebook page, perpetrated by Hamas. And then they set her home ablaze. In many cases, in the weeks and months following an horrendous operation like this, the personal stories tend to fade because there is so much killing and so much horror, and the media just starts to focus on statistics and numbers. But I just want to mention a couple of personal stories, because I've seen that people who are aware of this October 7th incident action have made us aware of some of the personal stories. Ellie Beer, CEO of United Hatzalah, spoke to reporters in Jerusalem. United Hatzalah is a crowdsourced organization of Jewish, Christian, and Muslim volunteers that are providing free. Knowing that he was
Testing.
Despite that, shot him in the legs and brutally tortured him for hours because they viewed him
Just asking people,
as a
so what brings you out here today for this pro-Israel event here in Baker Park, Frederick, Maryland?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking me. I'm in full support of what is the atrocities that are occurring right now to people in Israel. I stand against what Hamas is doing, what the people in Palestine are doing.
I'll have you back up just a little bit, if that's all right. Take a few steps back. That he's perfect the way he is. Just like that.
I'm done, but thank you guys again so much.
All right, so the first question that I wanted to ask...
look at you.
You can look at me, you can look at the camera, you can look at whatever you would like to. It's a conversation, right?
Okay, sure.
So the first question I want to ask you is, what brings you here today to Baker Park, Frederick, Maryland, to attend this pro-Israel event?
Well, you know, I grew up near a Jewish enclave in Silver Spring, and there was always a Jewish kid that was better than me in everything. I remember we had a book reading contest where the teacher wanted to see who could read the most books in a year, and at the end of one semester, I was tied with another young lady named Sandy Landman. She ended up beating me by one book. Then later on, we went to our 50th high school reunion. Guess who she brought to the reunion? A book. Yes. So, and then I was also on a midget baseball team, and the Jewish enclave, we called it Little Israel at that time, had a
Testing. All right, so as I understand it, you had a little bit more dialogue that you wanted to add further than the speech.
So in a nutshell, you know, the vast majority of Maryland's Jewish community has migrated to Montgomery County and Baltimore County. So I went to day school, in a Torah-observant Orthodox day school for 6 years in Baltimore County. But I lived this whole time in rural Carroll County. So how to become more observant and more connected to the community, as I mentioned, I got involved with the Hillel, a Jewish organization in Frostburg State, and helped to start that. When I came back in my 20s, I moved to a very observant community, Owings Mills and Pikesville. And you know, it wasn't like it was a tumultuous time, it was peacetime, the Clinton years, what have you, but my grandparents instilled growing up through my entire lifetime, this is what anti-Semitism is. You know, we saw things in the Gulf War, obviously, you know, Israel, was blamed for some degree and caught the brunt of that. The Crown Heights, which was unfortunately perpetrated against a young member, a colleague of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, where our rabbi here today is from, in 1991, where the man was basically lynched because a young black youth lost his life being hit by a motorcade of a rabbi, and it caused a pogrom is what it was against the Orthodox community. Yeah. So I've been more in tune with following these things nationwide and worldwide targeting the Jewish community. What happened, obviously, in the issues with Freddie Gray and the other disturbances, it was a horrible thing. But anytime someone is out doing these acts, and you'll see someone waving a Palestinian flag on the streets of St. Louis or New York, what have you, or in this case, you had the New York Post caption people with a Nazi swastika in the midst of the protests in the last couple of weeks. There's no reason for that whatsoever. So what I just want to get at is the state of Maryland, House of Delegates, State Senate, and the governor should have a non-binding unanimous resolution supporting the Jewish community. Yes, what happened to the innocent Palestinians, thousands have died. Children have died. It's a horrible thing, okay? Israel's side, I'm not going to belabor it. It's what happened. But again, the Jewish community, 200,000 or more members around the state, 100,000 in Montgomery, PG County, and the Baltimore County, Baltimore City alone. There are small Jewish communities, Cumberland, Hagerstown, as I said, Southern Maryland, Westminster, where there are congregations. And we certainly deserve more than that. I know they're going to get around to doing the right thing. I know it. Okay? So, but that's where I am with it. Most people, again, do not go to the path of moving into a rural community, moving into an observing community. It doesn't happen. So I'm kind of an anomaly. But it's through the religious figure that we're here today and representing what we're doing that I become more in tune with what's happening. And unfortunately, we've made scapegoats through the years far too many times. And that's where we are. So thank you for doing what you're doing. I hope you have many more connections with putting this into social media with some of the talk radio stations in Baltimore. And please keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for adding that additional contact. Levi Trumbull. Appreciate you.
Levi, what do you do full time?
I do video. Well, this is.
Yes, a lot of kids.
All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, nope. I need to crank that up a little bit even higher. I'm too high. No, it's me. It's not you. Is my head in that shot?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, now we're good. We're good.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Well, you're almost cut off.
I'm almost cut off. I'm getting there. So what brought you out today to Frederick, Maryland to come to this pro-Israel demonstration?
Well, I was invited by Alexandria Levine, and I came out not for political reasons. I am Lori Friend running for the United States Senate, but this was all on a personal level for me. I was raised in a Christian home. My father, studied Hebrew. I have always been taught that we need to stand and protect Israel. It's God's word that we stand and protect Israel, and that's why I am here, and that is what I've expressed, and I will always stand to defend Israel.
So, what do you think the American consensus should be on this issue? And what I mean by that is, how should people in this country mentally rationalize what is going on in Israel, the attack on Israel from Hamas, from Gaza? What should their consensus be on this?
We should stand behind Israel because they should remember, a lot of them should remember the Holocaust and a lot of the Jews that were eradicated through that. This is no different than that. These are God's people. These are our people. These are American people. These are Americans. These are American Jews. We need to stand up and protect Israel. We need to defeat Hamas. We need to annihilate them. And as a consensus, this is a terrorist attack. And if you think that this is not going to happen on American soil, you're wrong. It's an open door for them to do this to the United States and the United States people.
Absolutely. All right, Lori, that's your...
Yes, Lori Friend.
You had a name on there.
Yes, Lori Friend.
Like
yes, because we all need a friend in the Senate.
That's right.
Thank
Lori,
you so much.
Thank you very much.
Very
Appreciate
nice
it.
To meet you.
Good to meet you.
Thank you. Message me about next Saturday.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will send you. Definitely.
Thank you again. Oh, wait, I gotta get the food wrong. I always do.
All right, there we are.
You can get this, right?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's in the shot, no question.
That was the point.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to wear this coat.
All right. So I guess I'm gonna ask the same 3 questions that.
Oh, do you want me to know who I am, or?
Yeah, you can do that.
Sure. Oh, hi.
Testing. Hold a minute. Let's make sure we're on the record here. All right. Yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
Hi. My name is Alexandra Levine.
Actually, hold 1 minute. The wind's blowing.
I know.
I'm gonna hold it closer to you.
Right here is like
Give it 1 second.
Hi.
Don't worry about the. Let's just take it from the top. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Levine. I'm a Jewish liaison and a national faith leader.
So my question for you today is, what brought you to Frederick, Maryland to be a part of this pro-Israel demonstration here in Baker Park?
Well, to be honest with you, with the horrific attack that happened, I was like, we have to do something. We have to stand with Israel. So I actually contacted Fred Profiter and Ted Eisenberg, and I said, we have to put this rally together. Will you put this rally together with me? And they said yes without hesitation. And it was so important. There are a lot of Jews that live in the Frederick County area. We had a rabbi here from the Chabad of Frederick County, and we actually have a Jewish police officer today who is the chief of Frederick City Police. So it is so wonderful to have Jews and Christians come here together and to unite and stand with Israel and support Israel, because it is the right thing to do.
What do you think the American consensus should be on this issue between this conflict, Gaza and Israel?
I think that every American, because Israel's our biggest ally, should say, I stand with Israel and I support Israel. Every congressional candidate, every congressman, every senator, every governor, anybody who's an elected official should be saying, I stand with Israel, and should write a resolution condemning Hamas and supporting Israel.
What do you think the response from Israel should be as it relates to this October 7th attack carried out by Hamas? I believe the latest number, and I could be wrong, but it's at this point at least 1,400 Israeli citizens fall in victimization to this attack, again carried out by Hamas on that 7th of October.
Well, the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, has already said we are going to annihilate the enemy. We're going to annihilate the terrorists and all the terrorist groups that were involved in this attack, and they will do whatever they can. I know for a fact Bibi Netanyahu will do whatever it takes to keep the people of Israel safe.
What do you think happens next on anything?
I mean, like I said before, the mission right now is to annihilate the enemy. The mission right now is to annihilate Hamas, Hezbollah, any terrorist organization that says death to Israel or does anything bad to Israel or causes attacks on Israel. That is the mission that Israel is going. That is the mission right now in Israel. And like I said, we need to stand with Israel. We need to support Israel. We need to do these rallies. We need to continue doing these rallies and posting photos and posting videos of our support for Israel. And that's what the Israeli people want, and that's what they want to see.
Are you satisfied with the response from President Biden?
No, I'm not. I'm actually not, because he gave $6 billion to Iran, which is one of the reasons why 1,400 innocent Israelis were murdered, raped, and burned. And I have gotten intelligence from the NSC that the mainstream media is not reporting the real heinous atrocities that Hamas did to these innocent Israelis. I will not say it on camera, but it's pretty sick what these people did. And the fact that Biden said he's going to give $100 million of $100 billion of humanitarian aid to Gaza and barely any for Israel, and he's going to give more money to Ukraine than Israel. It's a slap in the face to Israel. It's a real slap in the face. It's a slap in the face to Holocaust survivors. And and the majority of the American people, a lot of them are very upset what's going on in Ukraine, but they feel that we've given Ukraine a lot of money, and now it's time to turn our attention and help our biggest ally, Israel, because this is the biggest loss that they've had in a single day since the Holocaust. And we need to help Israel right now. We need to give them as much aid as we can.
All right. Appreciate your sentiment on the issue and you speaking with me today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good deal.
I hope that made sense.
No, that made sense. Yeah. Hold 1 minute. I'm going to turn the camera off. What's your name, by the way?
Andrew Koch, K-O-C-H.
Andrew. I'll just say we're here with Andrew.
Yep.
I am?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now we are here with Andrew. He was one of the speakers today. So what brought you out here to Baker Park today to be at this pro-Israel demonstration?
Well, I'm the treasurer of the Maryland Republican Jewish Council, and I host a daily video series on our Facebook and Instagram page. It's called The Daily Fetch. And I have been talking about this war in Israel nonstop for the last 2 weeks. I started with it on October 8th, the day after the attack, because this attack happened at the end of the high holiday season for the Jewish holidays, which were all in September and into October. And that attack happened again. It happened on a religious holiday to mark the end of the holiday season. And I think that's part of what caught Israel so much by surprise. Of course, the bigger factor was just the spectacular failure of intelligence. And I live in Baltimore. Baltimore has a sister city partnership with the city of Ashkelon on the southern coast of Israel. Ashkelon, whenever there is a flare-up of violence with the terror groups in Gaza, always gets hammered hard by rocket fire. It is the most targeted city by terrorist rockets in the entire state of Israel. And Ashkelon got hit by many rockets. A lot of rockets got through and did damage. The hospital in Ashkelon, Barzilai Medical Center, was hit 4 times by rockets. No one said a peep about that. But yet this hospital in Gaza, Al-Shaib Hospital in Gaza City, got hit by a rocket from launched by Islamic Jihad that misfired. It hit in the parking lot of the hospital. The entire world lost its freaking mind. But no one said anything when Barzilai Medical Center in Ashkelon, which was purposely targeted by rocket fire, was hit 4 times. No one said anything. The hypocrisy is rank, and it is disgusting.
So what do you think the American consensus should be on this issue with this Gaza-Israel conflict?
The consensus should be recognizing that Hamas and Islamic Jihad are evil, and they showed it. They continue to show it. They showed it with the videos where they were mocking and humiliating the hostages that they brought back into Gaza. They should know that Hamas is evil by the way they massacred the Supernova Music Festival in Kibbutz Re'im. 1 out of every 10 people who went to that festival, there were 3,000 people who went to that festival, 300 of them were murdered, and who knows how many were taken captive and taken back into Gaza. There's one kibbutz near the Gaza border, kibbutz near Oz. 1 out of every 4 residents on that kibbutz have been taken hostage, and so that's about 90 people, and who knows how many more were murdered. There's another kibbutz, Kibbutz Be'eri. Over 100 people were murdered. That's considered the epicenter of it because so many people were murdered as the terrorists swept in from all directions, and they were shooting and throwing grenades and using RPGs, and rockets were coming in from Gaza to boot. So the American consensus should be recognizing Hamas for the evil that it was. I talked about this week's Torah portion, which was Parshat Noach, and the word Hamas in Hebrew appears in that Torah portion. And what does the word Hamas mean in Hebrew? It means corrupt. It means morally depraved. It means robbery. And we've seen Hamas do all of these things ever since they were elected to rule the people of the Gaza Strip.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that sentiment today, and I appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you very much, Larry.
Appreciate it. Absolutely. All right. Well, I said.